understand toxic leadership, we need to start by understanding what is leadership. Leadership is influencing other people, the behavior of other people around a common goal. Now, in and of itself, leadership is neither good nor bad. It is simply the influence of other people. Narcissistic leadership is the first component of what we'll call toxic leadership. Narcissistic leadership is a leader who influences others around a common goal that benefits the leader, so acting in one's own self-interest. Narcissistic leadership styles tend to be characterized by a few things. First, they are authoritarian. They tend to be dominating and directive. They tend to provide feedback through retribution rather than through rewards. And they tend to be very self-interested, very focused on the self and what betters oneself. Now, naturally, narcissistic leadership styles don't emerge to the top or to positions of influence. There are different things in place that sort of check them before they get to that level. Now, narcissistic leaders typically will have trouble emerging to power. We don't like them, we don't tend to grant them power, but there are certain circumstances where narcissistic leaders have a better opportunity to rise and exert their influence. For this to happen, they need two conditions. First, they need susceptible followers. And there are two types of susceptible followers. There are colluders who aid the narcissistic leader in their endeavors, likely because they stand to benefit from the same actions. There are also conformers. And conformers, for one reason or another, do not stand up to the narcissistic leader, or don't put their hand up to resist, but rather go along, sort of keep their heads low, stay out of the line of fire. The second condition for narcissistic leadership to take place is what we call a conducive environment. And there are different types of conducive environments. They might be a perception of external threat, when we think that the competition will beat us, or on a political level, perhaps a rival country or some threat of security. When there's perceptions of instability, when we perceive that our security is threatened, that our own stability is threatened, then we tend to grant leaders disproportionate amounts of power. We'll also find sometimes there are certain cultural values or types of cultures. A collectivist culture, a culture with high power distance. Things like this where resistance and feedback are not necessarily common or encouraged by the culture. When these three things, narcissistic leadership, susceptible followers, and a conducive environment come together, they form what we call the toxic triangle. When the toxic triangle appears, it's typically very bad for everyone involved except for those at the very, very top. Come learn more about toxic leadership at the Hart HR Strategic Conference, May 22nd in Bucharest.